who come to this happy place, welcome.
What is it about Disney that makes us happy? Is it the magical whistle as your ticket is scanned at the main gate? Is it the seafaring smell of pirate water? Or is it charting a course to a land where you may never grow up? Whether it's singing a familiar song, watching a movie, or riding your favorite attraction for the 100th time, Disney undeniably has a way to warm our hearts, believe in magic, and bring joy into our lives. This is Main Gate Magic, a podcast where we break down and discuss the infectious happiness, delight, and thrill of all things Disney. All right. Welcome, everybody. We are live with Main Gate Magic. Hello, and hope everybody's doing great today. It is a beautiful sunny day, or evening now. This is episode 3. We are doing a cast member spotlight on our co-host, Mimi Doody. Say hi, Mimi.
Hello. How are we all
back.
today?
Good,
I'm
good.
here
Welcome back.
this
Yes,
time.
I know. We missed you on the last one. And my other co-host, of course, my lovely wife, Miss Lisa. How you doing, baby?
Hi, everyone.
Oh, I love the
favorite.
princess wave. Yes.
That's beautiful.
If you guys are watching, come on, do the princess wave with us. You got to do it. Hi, Patricia. Hey, Gabriel. How you guys doing? Good to see you guys in the chat. So if we're gonna, and Mimi, you missed it on the last one, but we started kind of a new format where we talk a little bit about Disney news first, and then we get into our guest stuff.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to start by doing a quick little recap on last week's episode. We had Jerry Cornell on here from Theme Parkology and also from Adventurous Ideas, who was, yes, very, very great interview. He's always nervous about being on the show, but when he starts getting into the stuff that he loves, he's just like we're having a cup of coffee together. It really makes him feel a lot more comfortable and at ease, and it was a good show. I think it was a good show anyway, so... So if you guys missed last week's, you can catch it on YouTube, Facebook, and the audio, of course, is available on all the usual channels: Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Podcast Index. So check it out. All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you. The chats are open, so if you got anything to say, you want to say hello, you want a question to ask our cast member, please do so. Drop it in the channel. And for now, we are going to start off with a little bit of news.
It's time for Main Gate Magic News.
Alrighty, so all Disney news, of course. I don't have any general Disney news. A lot of it is about Disneyland this time, and I'm okay with that because we are going to be going. When are we going, baby? Tell the dates that we're going to be going down.
We'll be at the park May 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Yeah, 5 days with, I think, a total of 6 people. That includes us. We hope it is a good trip because we know it's not always easy to go with crowds of people. It's difficult to manage that sometimes, but I feel like we've done pretty well in the past, so hopefully we'll keep our luck going. And we are going to be down there for Season of the Force, which is the first thing on my news list today. It launched on Saturday, April 5th, and it's going to be running from then all the way to June 2nd with Star Wars nights from April 16th through May the 9th. So we will be there for the one on the 9th, I think, right? Isn't that the very last one?
The very last one.
And we have never been to a Star Wars night before.
No. That's our first Star Wars night.
I think it's crazy with as much of Star Wars fans that we are. We still haven't been to a Star Wars night.
I know.
We've done Villains, right? We did Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. We did... What else did we do?
We've done Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween a couple times. But I feel like there's... I think Mimi's having technical difficulties, but... Oh, we had 80s night.
Oh, that was right. Yes. I loved 80s night because we actually dressed in our Dayglow neon clothing, and I had my members only jacket on and my parachute pants. That was a lot of fun, and we took a lot of cool pictures too.
Yes, we did.
Let's see. So we talked about Season of the Force on the last episode, but I'm just going to go ahead and reiterate some of the things that are available. They have a new fireworks show at Galaxy's Edge called Fire of the Rising Moons. Haven't seen anything visible on social media about it yet. You have?
I have.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So you're not usually one that does spoilers, and you spoiled it for yourself.
No, it came across my feed, and I couldn't help myself.
Oh,
but
okay.
I didn't spoil it for you.
No, you didn't spoil it for me, because I think I want to kind of hold off. I don't usually watch the fireworks at Disneyland in general, because it's always the best time to go on rides. So if we're going on a ride where you can see the fireworks from the ride, then it's a bonus. But I don't want to sit and gather in the Main Street, rotunda or whatever you want to call that, where the partner statue is, and with a bunch of crowded people watching the show. It's too much for me. It's too much sitting, too much standing, too much waiting. No, thank you. Mimi, how you doing? Are you back on? You're good?
I'm good. I'm back. If you can hear me, I'm back.
Yes. And I don't know if you saw, but we actually have somebody on here that's cheering you on. You've got
I knew they were there. I set them
up. Well, welcome Lola and little Wendy. I will see her someday, hopefully. Uncle Jason will definitely have his moment. Yes, it will. It will. So we were just talking about Season of the Force and how we are going to be actually at Star Wars Night on May the 9th. So
that's so exciting.
We are super excited about that. And I heard that we talked about the new fireworks show. We talked about the dates that it's coming, and also there's new experiences for Star Tours. We talked about that on the last episode.
Right.
And they have new locations from Ahsoka, Andor, and The Mandalorian. And I heard that
I did hear something about that.
I heard Grogu's going to be in it, too.
No way. I approve of that deeply.
Yes. I cannot wait to see, because I think we all love Grogu. The child is awesome.
I don't think I think even if you haven't seen The Mandalorian, it's hard not to like and appreciate. Even if you're out there in the world calling him Baby Yoda, it's okay.
Right.
We forgive
Baby
you.
Yoda with his little ball, or if he's eating soup or anything else. Let's face it, the kid has a voracious appetite for everything that isn't nailed to the ground. Yes. And then, of course, Hyperspace Mountain Overlay has returned as well. So that is another thing that they are doing to celebrate the Season of the Force. Yay! So, yay Star Wars Night, yay Season of the Force. In other news, Soarin' around the world, and occasionally Soarin' over California, it's possibly getting a reboot.
I saw that.
Have you guys heard about that? I don't know. No. I think maybe I didn't talk to you about this one yet, but I kind of found this one hidden amongst the news articles, because there's certain people that actually watch for the patents that Disney files.
Yeah.
And apparently they did file plans for a new Soarin' adventure with more lightweight ride system, a greater range of motion, and a more aggressive ride style. And
some people are calling it the Mission Space Upgrade.
Really?
Yeah, they're like taking something that could be nice and mellow and then making it intense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be as intense as Mission Space.
No, but they're calling it. Because
it's not going to spin. Yeah. But
so, like, just a more a heightened experience.
Yeah, I think they're just going to be able to rock it back and forth more, and maybe, swing it more as well. I mean, it just makes me wonder, though, if because the dome that it's projected on is, you have kind of a limited range already as it is. If they tilt you more, isn't that going to kind of more, it might ruin the effect, unless they're going to
I'm sure they've got, well, unless, I don't know. That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I mean, there's really not much more known about it. It's just all going to be speculation, and we know that happens a lot. And that's kind of the fun thing about it, too, is that you can kind of just guess, like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if they could do this and that and the other? And I wonder, is it still going to be Soarin' around the world, or is it going to are they going to start changing it up, like how they add more stuff to Star Tours?
Yeah, that would be really interesting. It'd be interesting to get different experiences. I still think that it would be great if they were able to do like for I don't know, the anniversary already happen, maybe 25.
Yeah.
To do like an enhanced Soarin' over California version. I would love that. I don't think they'll do it. But every time I see it, oh yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
I love the ride film for Soarin' over California, but like when you go on it now, you're like, oh wow, this was filmed in the year 2000.
Yes.
Like it's so grainy.
You can tell it's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still love it.
I do too. I don't really care what version. Just with the one exception that I will say every single time, and I've always had a little bit of a quirkiness about it, and I'm trying to stay as positive as possible because I know there's a lot of people that don't. But the fact that you always end at Disneyland during Christmas. I always thought that was
You and
weird.
I had a conversation about this. We
did.
Talked about this.
Yes.
In Florida.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, no, that's a little anachronistic.
Gabriel says, I'm with Mimi. Soarin' over California needs to come back. Yeah,
I love it every time they bring it.
It does.
The last time we were at the park, I'm pretty sure they were doing Soaring over California.
Yep.
When we went the last time. And that was in 22? Fall of 22?
They bring it back like
long.
Every other summer or something.
Yeah.
They bring it back pretty often.
Actually, I think it was fall of 21.
I remember they brought it back in either 2018 or 19 when I was working at Disney.
And they just call it Soarin' now. At least at the not Magic Kingdom. It's actually at Epcot in Florida.
At Epcot, it's Soarin', right?
Yeah, which makes more sense because then you can soar anywhere. I mean, they can change it to whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a better title anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Lola wants to know what happened to the orange scent, though. I don't know.
Like, can I get that bottled, please?
I'm sure they probably sell it at a candle store somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to pop names because, like, obviously, I'm not promoting any particular candle company, but a specific candle company that does Disney candles, I believe, has a Soarin' oranges scent, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they also have the pirate water one too in Haunted Mansion and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I don't know how good those are. I've heard
several of them
kind of mixed reviews on those. Yeah.
I'm not going to promote any particular company, but one company I have purchased from, and I was very satisfied with their scents.
Okay. All right. Next, Autopia. We had actually talked a little bit about Autopia as part of a different article on the last episode, in the sense that they are adding an Avatar experience to Disneyland, California, that's going to be something similar to what they have at Animal Kingdom in Florida. And the speculation is that they might be doing it in the area that is really being unused over at Tomorrowland. And I think that's probably what's going to be happening. And there was speculation that they might even tear down Autopia to do so. However, the news that I saw that says that in an effort to go to zero emissions, green, by the year 2030, apparently Disney has this goal. They plan to phase out the old gas guzzlers for, ready, drum roll, electric vehicles. They're finally getting
and I tell you,
vehicles.
Every single cast member working Autopia is like praising the mouse gods for this because I know so many people who got sick working that ride just from the fumes and like had to go sit down and just did not. Oh man, I'm so glad I never had to be out there because it's rough. I
don't even like walking past the ride myself because it does. I mean, it does give you a headache, and it's hard to stay positive about something like that. I love the ride. The ride's great.
It's fun.
Don't like riding it just because of the fact that the smell, and also, it's please do not bump the car in front of you. Yeah, right. I mean, I know some people consider that a part of the experience, but you sue for whiplash in like so many different cases when you go on that ride.
I mean, to be fair, being on Pirates half the time is just as bad.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Now, Autopia has had some refurbishments over the years, but the cars have always run on gasoline ever since they opened up on opening day, 1955. It's been around since it's one of the first original rides. And this just I feel silly now that I'm like, oh yeah, well maybe they're just going to like bump out Autopia now, because I kind of doubt they're going to get rid of it if they're replacing it with electric cars, because I feel like it's now going to actually draw more crowds by going electric. And not just because of the fact that it's, economy saving, but the fact that you just won't have to smell the smell anymore.
Yes.
Right.
So, yeah.
I wonder if it will be in a system where you can't hit the person in front of you anymore, too.
Ooh. Like
maybe there's
smart
sensors.
Electric cars,
like we
right?
have smart cars that can sense that. Ooh, that'd be cool. That'd be nice.
You know what? Yeah, they would become like invisible bumpers in front of everybody, and that way it stops like a. Oh, that's interesting. That's a good question. I'm curious to see what happens with that. Okay. Donald Duck's Pond. This is an area that is actually in Toontown at Disneyland, and it was originally opened up when the unveiling of the new Toontown, or the refurbished Toontown, happened in like early last year, but they only had it open for like the media day, because apparently everything worked fine at that time, but then it closed shortly after because they had issues with the water. And in case anybody hasn't seen it yet, Donald's, I think they've heard it called Donald's Duck Pond, Duck Hoppers or something like that. I've heard different names, but I think it's just his Duck Pond, where it's just a small area off the side of his big boat, the Daisy, where the water kind of like leaks out of his boat, and also that kind of spritzes up from some lily pads that are on the concrete. It's just like a little water play area. It just recently reopened on March 22nd. That's about a year after it originally closed down because of the water issues. The area features spinning water lilies, balance beams, rocking toys, and portals in the ship featuring Donald's nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and a character I haven't even heard of because I didn't really watch DuckTales, but somebody named Webby.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you heard of Webby?
We love Webby.
We love Webby. Okay. I'll have to take your word for that, because I honestly have never seen the new episodes of Duck. Isn't there like a new series?
Yes, there is.
Yeah. So I'm just not as familiar. But anyway, if you're in
really
Toontown...
exciting. I gotta say, I love everything they have done with Toontown.
Yeah.
Because there was not enough... I mean, okay, when it opened, it was like super play business, and then like everything became like OSHA scary, and so it was like... walk in here and walk out there, because we don't want children getting hurt and getting sued. But now they've set it up so you can play and not get sued. It's great.
Yep. Lola says, we remember the original Toontown. And I remember the original Toontown as well. I haven't seen the new one yet. We will see it when we go in May. That'll be kind of fun to see. And we usually don't go to Toontown very often unless it's to go on Roger Rabbit, or maybe possibly to see Mickey's house. I think that's about all we ever do. We never go on the coaster. No. But I want to go, because we got to see that. Oh, and there's a new reason, because we've got Mickey's Runaway Railway to go on.
I was going to say.
Yeah. So excited to see the new changes. Very excited. All right. Last bit of news for Disneyland I got for this episode. There are changes coming to the disability service at Disneyland, and also Disney World. So, on May 20th at Disney World, apparently you used to be able, and for those who are not aware, the DOS Pass system is the Disability Assisted Services, I think, or something like that. It's what the acronym is, and it's a system where it allows Disney guests with certain disabilities to not have to wait in the long lines. It's kind of like a line hopping thing, but you still have to wait the time it takes for the standard queue line. So you would go up to the exit, or you'd go to a cast member and say, hey, I want to return for this ride. You have to wait the amount of time that the queue line is, and then come back at that specific time, and then you can get on through the exit. And so that people, if they can't stand in line for too long, if they have crutches or some other hidden disability that most people can't see, then this system allows them to kind of enjoy the park experiences a little bit better. We've used it before, and it's a lifesaver for those who need it. And you used to be able to just go up to any particular cast member under the umbrella and say, hey, we need a DOS pass. It was good for a year. Once they assigned you up, it was good. But now, apparently, As of May 20th, they are moving the requests for inside the park to out in the Esplanade. It's going to be right in between Disneyland and California Adventures. I'm guessing somewhere around where the ticket booth areas are. I don't know if they're going to be in the buildings themselves or if they're going to have like separate umbrellas where you can go up and talk to people. So that's at May 20th at Disney. May 20. That's the Disneyland and the California Adventures one. The Disney World DOS passes are only going to be available by phone call. So if you want to arrange it and you have a disability, you have to call ahead of time, and they arrange a video phone call for you guys to talk about the disability. Are you eligible? Is it something that is going to be an experience for you? So I didn't even know that they had video calls available to set it up beforehand.
Yep.
So, but you knew that, right, baby?
I did,
you
yeah.
found out recently, right?
Yeah, I decided to reread all of the rules for that process.
Yeah.
So, and they do recommend if you're going to try to do it by phone or video at Disneyland to not do it more than 60 days out.
Okay. That's a good point.
Yeah. It needs to be within 60 days of your visit to the park.
Okay.
Wow.
And then, and speaking of which, we said before when you used to be able to get the DOS pass, if approved, it was good for a year. They changed that before, and it was only available for 60 days from the time that you got it. So you could, if you went back to the park within 60 days of your first visit, then it would still be activated. They are changing that for both parks now to 120 days. So the time is actually going up a little bit higher, but still not the same as it was before for the full year. And then Disney's also partnering with Inspire Health Alliance, so they might have some experts come in to talk to the cast members and say, tell us what's going on, what is your disability, why do you need to, be out of the lines and stuff like that. And I know the reason they're doing this, they're just trying to make sure that nobody's taking advantage of the system, and I totally get it. So, what are your thoughts?
I think honestly, it's good that they have this system available before people get there. I think they will rapidly realize that they probably need a system in place for when people get there in Florida.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are not going to realize you have to do. If there's one thing that I know from working at Disney, it's that people don't pay attention to things ahead of time. A lot of people do not look things up. They don't know that they should have the app for wait times. They don't realize, stuff like that. So I think that will probably be something that they're going to have to find they're going to work within the confines of, for World at least.
Yeah. And
although let me say
please,
this as a person with disability. When you have a disability, you're always going to be researching ahead of time.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So, I'm not saying always, but I really try to make sure I can be accommodated where I'm going. So.
Totally. I mean, I think it's great that they're kind of refining it and sort of fine tuning it and bringing in people that maybe can ask better questions. Because I feel like even the last time that we went and we talked to a specific cast member and we told them the reasons, like the multiple reasons why we needed it, even then, I feel like I got a little bit of a judgmental look from him.
Mm-hmm.
You remember who I'm talking about? It was somebody like right at the end of Main Street on the
Correct.
Tomorrowland side. And
yes.
We kind of got like this look like really? I'm like,
yeah.
What? And we were told that like Disneyland cast members are not even supposed to question anything about it. They're supposed to ask questions about your disability, but not supposed to be like, really, or anything like that. But I mean, it was just a look. He didn't say anything. It was just a look, and it was just one of the not so pleasant experiences that I've had with a cast
My phone just sent me, I don't know if it's spying on me or not, but it just sent me a Twitter, whatever it's called now, thing that says that this is from KTLA. Disneyland is considering threatening lifetime bans for people who lie during the Disability Access Service registration.
Geez.
That is correct.
So
yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Okay.
But if they're not allowed to ask questions or seek proof of a disability, I wonder how they can even find out. It must be something that's just blatantly obvious.
It seems very complex.
Yeah, it does.
This is one of those mid-ground things where there's not a lot of easy answers.
No,
Right.
there's not.
Especially with the HIPAA laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, technically you can't really be asked what your disability is, and that's the ADA law as well. So
We have a request from Lola.
Hi, Wendy. It's your mom. I promise I'm in the other room and you will see me soon.
Hang in there, kiddo. We'll be soon. It'll be done soon. All right. Moving along. Movies. We like movies.
I like movies.
Wish has come out. It is now streaming on Disney Plus. We finally watched it on Sunday, I think. Didn't we? Sunday?
yes, Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. And decent. I liked it. I wasn't like blown away. I didn't think it didn't give me like, Disney goosey bumps or anything like that. But I liked the origin story about, the wishing magic and stuff like that. I loved the storybook opening and ending. I don't want to give too much away for those who have not seen it. And Mimi, I know you said you saw it as well. You had a little bit of a higher opinion about it.
I saw it in theaters back in November. And I think I saw it the day after Thanksgiving or something. I don't know. because of my life experience, it was a very personal film for me.
Okay.
So I really loved it. Like, I really loved it. A lot of people did not like it at all, and I loved it completely. I have like almost no complaints. My kid liked it. We just watched it last week. Or whenever it came out. It was the day it came out, or maybe the next day, but we watched it. So, and I still
watch it again.
Yeah, the animation was really interesting.
It was.
And it was different, and a lot of people had negative things to say about that, but I thought it was a nice change of pace, but that's just me personally.
It took a while to get used to, and I think Lisa and I both kind of agreed with that. Like, what do you think about the animation? And we were both like, I don't know how I feel about the animation yet, because it wasn't
so
bad.
Different.
It was just different. It was like cell
very
shading and
much-
3D combined.
It felt very like the whole movie, a lot of it, the visually and aesthetically, it felt very Sleeping Beauty to me. It felt like they were trying to recapture that let's try a new visual style, which is the same thing that Walt did with Sleeping Beauty. And of course, it bombed at the box office. It did not make nearly as much money as they spent on it, which is why all the movies right after were like, let's do cheap, sketchy art because holy mackerel, we spent so much money on Sleeping Beauty. So it kind of felt like it was that let's venture into a new art style, and then everybody hated it. But I give it 50 years and people will think it's a classic.
Do you think that's also the reason why they recycled stuff from Snow White? Like, remember the dancing scene?
Oh yeah, no, guaranteed. And I know a lot of it. In some ways, you can say it's like, oh, it's just like a shortcut. But like a lot of times, it's like we don't have the money to finish. I know that for like Beauty and the Beast, the ending shot of Beauty and the Beast where Belle and the Beast are dancing, that's taken from Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, okay.
It's the same thing. And I remember listening to the audio commentary, and they were like, we couldn't afford to do this last shot. We couldn't afford to do it from scratch. So we just traced over Philip and Aurora and did it that way.
Hey, you got to make it work. I mean, and honestly, if I had never heard that, had ever watched behind the scenes, I'd have been fine. And it was great. It was a fantastic movie. The ending was wonderful. A little different in the live action version, of course, but I still enjoyed it. And I didn't think it was recycled or reused or anything, because Cinderella was how old by the time that Beauty and the Beast came out? I mean, it's old now, but it was even old then.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think they probably must have some kind of like thing where it's like, okay, well, we don't want to recycle anything that's any younger than 20 years old. So,
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe that's just my head giving these kind of thoughts. All right, we're gonna cycle through a few of these other movie stories here, but stories. Speaking of which, Toy Story 5 is actually coming out. They have a release date set for June 19th, 2026. So we got a little bit of time to wait for that one. The live-action version of Moana is being pushed out by a year to July 10th of 2026. So we got some stuff for Disney coming in 2026, folks. Brace yourselves. Moana 2, the animated version, the sequel to the original animated movie, is actually coming out this year in November, at least for now. I don't think there's an official date, but I think they had to kind of push the live-action one aside in order to be able to do Moana 2. I don't know if that's going to somehow tie in. I mean, I don't think so, because I think that the live action version of Moana is a retelling of the original one, the first story, right?
Yeah. I think
so.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Just like all the other live actions.
Right. I could hear your eyes rolling when you did that.
I didn't even realize I was doing it. I have no problem with the live actions. I thoroughly enjoy many of them.
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah, I know. I same with me. And I just there's certain aspects of, and actually I'm going to say like a weird fun fact that I heard. Not a fun fact, but it's more of a theory that I heard about Moana. But
we're going to talk about it, huh?
Why not? This is the place to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay, let's just go ahead and skip to that right now. I still got some more movie news, but we'll talk about this really quick since we're on the subject of Moana. TikTok. It's going to be the death of me someday. There's somebody on there that says, I was today years old when I found this out, or people are saying that there's a theory about this and that. And they do lots of connections between Pixar movies because of, like, say, the Pizza Planet truck, how it's in every single Pixar movie. And then there's all these Easter eggs and stuff. Well, they started talking about Moana, which I know was not Pixar. No. But they said that the theory is that once, and I don't even know, should I say this for those who have not seen? Okay, spoiler alert, if you have never seen Moana, stop watching, stop listening now. Okay, so the theory is that once Moana leaves the island and she hits that storm, and the boat's struck by lightning she winds up on the beach at Maui's island, that she died.
They say that about a lot of Disney movies.
Yes, died or dreaming or something like that. Because everything from that point on, she is only interacting with demigods, with creatures. She goes to the realm of monsters. Right. She visits her grandmother who is passed away as well. Mm-hmm. And even deals with what is his name? The fire god Taka, and then eventually, of course, gets to see Te Fiti at the end. And then Te Fiti is supposedly what brings her back to life, gives her the boat, and sends her back home. And from there, she's like, reborn or something like that. So that is the theory that I had heard about. And it kind of makes sense, but I don't really want to subscribe to it too much.
Tarzan being the sibling of Anna and Elsa kind of made sense too. Don't get me started on theories, man.
Oh yeah, I know. I've heard about that one as well. Yep. Yeah, I saw the videos.
Heard me rant about it.
There's a lot of them out there. I mean, people get creative about this kind of stuff, and even though it may not have been what was originally intended for, it's still kind of smart thinking.
My weird fan theory is that Jane Porter's mother was Alice in Wonderland, so
Oh, interesting. Okay, I can kind of see that.
There's lots of weird ones out there. There's another one about that involving Belle and the Beast and something else.
Yeah. We could do a whole episode on stuff like that.
We could, and maybe we will.
Maybe we will. We could just do it we could just call it the episode of theories.
There we go.
If you're listening, go to social media. Find us Main Gate Magic on Instagram and Facebook. Put a comment in there or post something and just say, yeah, you should do it, or no, you shouldn't. Yeah, or put it in the chat. Watching. I mean, there's not a lot of people watching right now, but if there's always room to chat even after the fact, so please don't be shy.
True.
All right, so Mandalorian and Grogu movie is set for May 22nd, 2026. And I had to double check if this was going to be a series or a movie, but no, it did say that they are doing a movie. Now, I don't know if it's actually going to be direct to video or whatever on Disney Plus, or if it's actually going to hit theaters, but that will definitely be something that I have to go see.
It's called streaming, baby. Streaming. Let's get caught up with the technology.
Direct to video. Yeah. Man, I haven't heard that in a decade.
It kind of still fits, though. I mean, it's not going to the theater. It's just going directly to video, streaming, direct to streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to get used to saying that. All right, next one is Tron is getting another sequel. It is called Tron.
So excited! I'm sorry.
And I might be butchering this pronunciation, but is it Tron Ares? A-R-E-S. Ares or Ares?
I'm not going to venture to speak on behalf of the Tron name.
Baby, what's your thought?
I'll screw it up.
Yeah? No? Same? Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I spelled it. We'll let everybody else interpret how it sounds. It's going to be opening actually next year. That's coming out before everything else, October 10th, 2025. So just a little
that's a good
more
date.
than a year. Yeah, it is. That is our anniversary date. And I even wrote that in my notes here. That's our anniversary. So really quick facts. It's 15 years after Tron Legacy came out and 43 years since the original Tron that opened up in 1982.
Oh
that
my
is
God.
a long time ago. It has been that long. Yes. But I remember seeing Tron in theaters. I saw it multiple times. I think my dad paid for my ticket. He's like, you want to go to a movie? I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's go see Tron. Okay. Next day, I want to go see Tron again. Here's the money. Bye. Dad, if you're watching or if you hear this, I hope you remember.
My dad would just take me to the theater that it showed like the Disney main feature and then like Disney cartoons in between, and then it would play the Disney feature again. So you kind of just paid at the beginning of the day. You could just stay there all day and rewatch it like 5 times if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Man.
I think we all did that at some point.
Modern day sucked. What? I want these experiences. I want to sit in a movie theater all day.
Wrapping up our news, there's not much info on these ones that I could find anyway, within the time frame that I looked. But it looks like there is also going to be some sequels in the making for Zootopia and another movie for Frozen. So
it's
that
about time for Zootopia.
Yes, I know. That was a great movie. We need to rewatch that one again.
I know.
There's so much in it. Yeah, there's so much in there, and it's a lot of fun. And I've seen videos of the ride that they have out in Hong Kong, is it? Or is it Tokyo?
It is Hong Kong.
Yeah. It is amazing. The animatronics in it are incredible. And
speaking of animatronics, just real quick, can we talk about, have you guys seen the videos of the ones for Tiana's Bayou Adventure?
No.
I have. And I debated on whether or not I was going to put that in the news because we did talk about Tiana's on the last podcast. Because they did show a video of, the weeks before that of Tiana and one other animatronic, but they've now released, the Imagineers have actually released a new one.
There's so much stuff to see.
There is a lot. And they call them like... I think they call them A1000 animatronics.
I will take them every day of the week, and I pray and hope that they put them in the Frozen Ever After ride.
Yes.
And replace all the projection faces. But that's just wishful thinking.
For those who are listening and are not really quite sure what we're talking about, the animatronics that are going to be in Tiana's Bayou Adventure, I think is the official title, is going to be similar to how they did everything in the Little Mermaid rides at California Adventure and also at the Magic Kingdom, where there's no projections for the faces. Yeah, but less scary. Exactly. Because Ariel's a little frightening in a couple of those. Yes. Yeah, she's a little nightmarish in some scenes, and of course when Ursula's head is attached,
You mean
but I digress.
Half detached.
Yes, yeah, half detached. That
not good.
Nightmare fuel for sure. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, just Google it, watch it on YouTube. Trust me, it's something to watch.
Game.
But just once.
I swear we saw it once in person.
We may have, yeah, or something was going on. But anyway, it is full-fledged animatronics, no projections on the faces, a la Frozen Ever After or Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters, things like that. It's going to be actual moving mouths, moving eyes, you know, like, and the detail is a lot better now.
It's stunning. It is stunning.
The technology is we must be catching up finally, and it's just looking fantastic. I just hope it lasts, because we all know that, you know, that kind of stuff can break down a lot easier, and they usually build in backups for stuff like that, but we'll see how it goes. All right, that's it for the news. It is time to shine a spotlight on our co-host, Miss Mimi. So
I was kind of hoping we'd forget about that part. No,
nope, sorry. But you know
kidding.
what? We spent 40 minutes on the news, so I figured 20 more minutes of a spotlight on you, I'm sure you can last. You can do that.
I can live with that.
Yeah, we're going to fire off a few questions, and then if anybody is still left in the chat, feel free to ask a question as well. But we're going to start off with, when did you join Disneyland?
So I first started work at Disneyland. It was September of 2016. I left for like a month in July of 2017, was back by September of 2017, and worked until September of 2019, when I got pregnant with my daughter and decided, well,
time to do other things.
I have to do something because I can't keep standing outside.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it, though.
Speaking of that, so the positions that you held, or the position that you started, was it always retail?
It was always retail. I did work retail the entire time, but I worked retail in every location you can work in the parks, with the exception of Galaxy's Edge, which had just opened, and you had to be specialty trained for that. And I never made it over to Pixar Pier. But other than that, everywhere in DCA, everywhere in the hotels, everywhere in Disneyland. DCA being California Adventure. I apologize. My brain goes back. I constantly call it DCA because that's what the cast members call it, and it never leaves you.
So what's that like?
I think a lot of people call it that now.
Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate that. That helps my life.
Yes.
I'm not confusing people.
What's it like when you're working one store? I mean, a store is a store is a store. I understand it's the same kind of principle and concept, but there's different products at every place you go. So what's that like? I mean, does it feel like you're literally hopping from one job to the other?
Very rarely are you. Yes, you are literally hopping from one job to another. You've got a fancy little thing that tells you exactly what position you're at, and that is true of every like regular job at Disney. Can't say anything for like entertainment, but so you know, you'll be assigned a cash register for a certain amount of time. Someone will bump you out there. You'll go clean stuff up. You're supposed to clean stuff up the whole time, but it's that sort of a thing. The interesting thing is that you're not often working in one store. I can think of a few places where you work in one store. The Emporium on Main Street, you are in one store. Candy Palace on Main Street, you're in one store. Everything on the other side of Main Street is you've got like the first half of Main Street, you work in all those stores. Second half of Main Street, you work in all those stores. So like you're bouncing between them. And that's true of most of Disneyland. I think the only other place where you only work one store is Toontown at the time, but that doesn't exist anymore. And then Small World. No. Yes. Small World, I think, is just Small World. And nope, it's not. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. Adventureland, because those are like two stores that are connected and they just have registers throughout the whole thing. It's one store. But other than that, whenever you're working in a store, you're working in all the stores. So you get to know them very intimately. And
I'm sure.
For someone who's as much of a Disney geek as I am, I was always like poking around and doing stuff I was not supposed to do. So like I'd go hang out, like walking around the stock rooms being like, I wonder how long this has been around.
I bet. Yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go restock.
Yeah, you know. Well, I mean, and it was always cool little things like any time that you are at Disneyland, and I don't know if anybody else did this, but before I worked there, anytime I would see a door, I'd be like, I wonder where that door goes. I wonder what that door is for. And then when I got to work there, I got to find out where all the doors went. I have a couple of favorite doors that I always wondered where they went, and now I know. So,
How
kind
much
of a
can
weird
you
one.
say? How much
I
can you
will-
say about the doors?
The
I don't want to
question
get you in
is-
trouble. We've had
the
this
question
conversation
is,
already.
Do I want to work at Disney ever again?
Well,
So
if
let
you
me.
do,
Can I ask
be
you
careful.
this question? This is all I'm going to say is: were you ever disappointed when you opened that door?
No.
Okay,
Because
there we go.
even if it was just a space, okay, so I can't say for Disney World because I never worked there, but working at Disneyland, every door has so much history because like I'm trying to think of a good example of a great door. It's a broom closet, but it's a broom closet that's been there since 1955. Walt
And
Disney
it goes to the land of
would have been
Narnia.
in that broom closet.
Exactly.
That's all you need. It can be the most mundane thing. I would geek out over it so hard. And yes, I am okay talking about doors that could get me into trouble. As long as it doesn't get your podcast taken down, I don't care.
I don't think it will.
Taken down.
I really don't think it will. I mean, I can't
likelihood
imagine
of
where
me
the
working
only
at Disney again is slim, and the likelihood of it'll be fine.
I can't imagine we're the only podcast that's ever had a cast member on to talk about stuff like this.
No, and I'm not sharing trade secrets.
No, and you're not trash talking it either, so that's
how
the difference.
The Hatbox Ghost animatronic works. No, I'm not doing that. Although I do know how it works. I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, do you?
I do. Should I,
no.
Jason?
You shouldn't tell how it works. Let's not say that because we don't want.
But
you should tell your story. Yes, you should go ahead and now. But again, that falls into the line of: do you ever want to work at Disney again? If if you think it's going to ruin your chances, then don't.
Worst case scenario, I go to work at Disney again and they say no, and I can live with that. I'll just get an annual pass.
Okay, here's my thing. I want to say right now. I do not like it when my magic is spoiled.
Oh, I'm not spoiling magic, I promise.
I'm just saying. So
I will not spoil your magic.
No.
My stories involve no magic spoiling. They just involve
I've heard
wonderful
this before,
adventures.
So please.
So
regale us.
When I worked at Disney, when I started at Disney, I worked in Emporium. And when you work in Emporium, you just work in Emporium like forever until they let you branch out. And even then, most of the time, they don't let you branch out because they want people to work in Emporium because nobody wants to work in Emporium because you're there till 2:45 in the morning. Because Main Street Park closes at midnight. Main Street closes at 1. You're closing registers and making sure every single Mickey Mouse has his arms crossed until about 1:20. And then you have your 20-minute walk time to get back to your car. So 2:45 rolls around. There was a lot of, I admit, and that's the only time I'm going to get into anything negative. There was a lot of time that I was working at Disney that I was sleeping in my car. That was mostly because I was really bad with money and didn't have enough money to rent a place. So that was fine. And then eventually I ended up living in San Diego with my family and commuting 2 hours to and from work because I loved it so much. So 2:45 a.m. is a magical time at Disney when there's a lot going on, but not a lot going on. And I don't remember where I met this friend, and I'm not going to name him because he still works for the company, but he and I decided to team up one day at 2:45 and wander. We decided to walk the park after closing because anybody who's read the Kingdom Keepers book series, and I highly recommend the Kingdom Keepers book series, that thought is going to be in the back of your head forever about Disney After Dark. So we were wandering about. We would do this every once in a while. We would wander about the park after closing, and then eventually we'd leave and go home. One day, as we were wandering about after closing, I mean, we would wander into strange places. One time, we wandered through the entire Indiana Jones queue with one of those cards. I had one from the 90s. Not the ones they reissued for the 20th anniversary.
Don't tell me you were trying to translate it.
No, we translated everything. We translated the whole dang queue. It was great. We were just walking through there for like 2 hours. It was wonderful.
Wow.
But one day we decided to walk down the exit ramp of the Haunted Mansion because when the Doom buggies are no longer going, the ramp no longer goes. So we walked down there and we were just like peeking in, and someone who I'm also not going to name because I don't know if they still work for the company, but I don't want to get them in trouble. They were like, "Hey, what you doing down here?" And we were like, just looking around. And this person who was really cool was like, "Do you want a tour?" And we were like,
"Oh no.
Yes,
please."
So this individual took us on a walkthrough tour of the Haunted Mansion, took us to a lot of places that on a normal walkthrough tour of the Haunted Mansion you would not see. So like favorite place now, that was the first time. We went back 3 or 4 times, and I hung out with this cast member who took us on this tour several times. I would go to the Haunted Mansion a couple times a week. Sometimes I would get to do a tour, sometimes I wouldn't. I got to know some of the third shift, which is like the overnight, the third shift custodials, who were, scrubbing not scrubbing, vacuuming the floors and stuff, hang out in the stretching room. I would just hang out down there, talk with them while they did their jobs.
Chilling with the gargoyles.
I got to know the Haunted Mansion break room intimately. Favorite things that I got to see was I got to stand both on both sides. Are you aware of how the Pepper's Ghost effect works? Are you okay with me talking about that?
I am aware, but again, we don't want to give spoilers for those who don't want to hear how it works.
Well, there are both sides of this illusion. I've stood in the ballroom.
Okay, I understand.
Inside the ballroom.
Wow.
I understand.
Was cool. I'm not okay. There's something I want to say, but I don't want to magic. Okay. But let's just say that all of the details in there are intimately intentional. I will say that.
Yes.
Very
well said.
So when you're on in the Doom buggies and you're going down the endless hallway, you go past the doors and then you kind of go around like this and you go past the clock. If you turn around a little bit, there's a little table with a book on the table. And the book, I think, is open or maybe it's closed. Either way, that book is full of signatures from cast members dating back.
You told me about this one, I think.
And back years and years and years and years and years.
Wow.
I did get to sign that. There's also another book in it's the guest book, Constance's guest book. And obviously that hasn't been around as long because that was done in 2006.
And for those listening or who want to know, Constance is the name of the
Ghost Bride, the murderous Ghost
Hatchaway. Yes, the one who beheads all of her husbands.
She's not very nice to them.
She is. There's a reason why she's a ghost.
That guest book also has names, not dating back as far, but I got to sign that one as well. The best though, there was a day that I went without my friend, and I met up with the guy who gave me the tours, and he said, "We're going to do something different today." And I said, "Okay, cool." And he took me into a space that I'm not going to disclose. And we went up a ladder in that space. And then we went around something that you can see. I'm being as big as possible for you. And went out onto the balcony of the Haunted Mansion. And we stood up on the balcony surveying the rivers of America and New Orleans Square. And I don't want to get him in trouble either. He had a cigarette, I had a Coke, and we talked about how cool the Haunted Mansion was. Basically the coolest experience of my life, standing on the second floor balcony of the Haunted Mansion.
That is
I cannot think of anything that I wanted more in my life. If any of you have heard of the Long Forgotten Haunted Mansion blog, that guy posts all kinds of cool stuff about the Haunted Mansion and that you would never know. And I read all of it religiously back in like 2013, 2014, 2015. And So like that really fueled my mansion psychopathy. So
Okay, and I have to say, just full disclaimer for those who are hoping to work for Disneyland someday, don't count
do
on
that.
this happening. And yeah,
Don't
behave
do it.
yourselves, please, because we do not condone any illicit behavior while you are an employee at Disneyland, or anything that might get you into trouble or us into trouble. So yes, please behave yourselves.
Doombuggies.com, wonderful resource as well.
Yes.
Also a big fan of Jeff's work. I met Jeff more than 10 years ago, almost 13 years ago at the first MouseCon, and I totally geeked out on him like a total dweeb. I was like, oh my god, you're my inspiration of my life, and now we're friends on Facebook. So
that's awesome.
Yes, please, if you want to work for Disney, don't do this. Like, don't do it. It's not that they frown upon it, it's that you'll get fired. And I could have gotten fired if anybody found out.
Okay, so let's really quick. Let's talk about we talked about that perk that was just happened to be like a random perk that you got. I think you got lucky on.
I got stupid lucky.
But like as a cast member, what are the legal perks? Like
okay, legal
the ones
perks,
that they say,
so
you can get this and you can get this.
Now this has changed because when I worked there, obviously you could go into the park at any time. That has changed due to the reservation system at Disneyland, to my knowledge. I'm like 100% positive. I know that you get a 20% discount on merchandise. I think on food as well. Or is it a 10% discount on food? It's been a while.
It's like being a Magic Key holder, kind of.
Yes, but during Christmas time, they give you 40%, and then your life ends because you're working all these hours because it's Christmas time, and then you spend all your money because it's 40% off. And then you can sign in your friends and family. You get a certain amount of sign-ins. I believe it was 14 a year when I was working there, but that was back then. They also give you get comp tickets every like kind of half a year. They did when I was working there. You have to remember I was working there 5 years ago. Wow. Oh my god. So after COVID, a lot of things changed, to my knowledge, but those were the perks when I worked there. I know that some of those perks are definitely still intact.
They must have changed a lot of stuff,
also,
but I mean, I can't imagine that the perks have changed very much.
Yeah, no, not too much. Also, Disney does a lot of they do a lot of magic things for their cast members, or they did when I worked there. So like getting to go see Galaxy's Edge before it opened, a month and a half before it opened. That was stellar. And they do all kinds of little things, soft openings often. I remember I could have done soft opening for Guardians, but I didn't. I was a fun fact, and I have the picture, but I'm not gonna, obviously I can't. I was the last elevator on Tower of Terror at California Adventure.
No,
because they told us, they were like, you guys can go over there, but they're shutting down at 2:30, and we got off on Main Street at 2:20 or 25. No, I think it was 2:20. We ran over to California Adventure. If it had been Disney World, it wouldn't have happened. But we were the last ones in that, like, because the other cast members, because the people who worked it were the last ones. They got to ride it last.
I'm sure, yeah.
But
you were one of the last ones.
Before that, I have a picture of me sitting in that dilapidated fountain with the bellhop hat on my head, with all the bellhops around us. It was great.
That's awesome.
So there are little things like that, and then sometimes there are other things. So I told you about this, but I didn't do it. But they had they did. I think it was in 2019. It was summer of 2019. They did all the Star Wars movies. They showed them in the theater, the old Captain EO theater.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
I didn't get a chance to do that, but you know, they do things like that, which is great. And then my team, and I told you about this too, in Fantasyland at the time, back in it was 2019 as well. They set up a system where they were like, if you pick up 5 pieces of trash or you tell guests certain amount of trivia, you can get perks. We'll have like a little card, and whoever gets all the card, something will happen at the end of the week. And I did that several times. And one of the things, we got to go to backstage where they had the horses, and we got to feed the horses and like pet the horses. Cool. We got to I feel like there were 3 other things, but I don't remember what one of them was. We got to the Tropical Hideaway had just opened, and the chef who designed the menu at the Tropical Hideaway took us through, told us the history of everything on the menu, and we got to try one of everything, which was great because, like, holy mackerel, that's a lot of money. And then the pièce de résistance was getting to do a walkthrough of the Matterhorn.
Yes,
which was
everybody. The ongoing question: is there really a basketball court inside the Matterhorn? Yes, there is. Yes.
I mean, we all saw this on the Imagineering story, but yes, there is. And I did get to attempt to shoot a hoop. I did not do it, but I tried. I got to take a picture with Harold, and in one of those in the scene where all the stuff is messed up. The horde scene, I think they call it.
Yeah, where all the
I got to sit in the little
and the skis.
Yeah, I got to sit in the little crash bobsled and take a picture there. That was great.
You showed me that picture.
I did. Lots of little things that like that, and then of course kind of the magic of getting to. You'd think it would ruin the magic for you. You would think that. It did not ruin the magic for me at all. If anything, it enhanced it because I got to be a part of it, and I knew all this stuff that nobody else knew.
and for those who know me, I'm going to ask my wife this question. What do I want to do when I retire?
Sorry, continue.
For Disney.
I want to work at Disneyland.
Do it.
I would love to work at Disneyland.
I always say it is the best job in the world, as long as you don't have too many bills to pay. If you're retired,
well, by then I really hope we don't.
Do it.
Right.
If you are independently wealthy, do it. It is so much fun. California is expensive.
Yes, it is.
But it's so worth it just for the experience of it.
Really quick shout out to Mr. Joshua Schaefer. He is on and watching right now. Our fun fact guy. Dropping knowledge. Always. He is our fun fact guy. Josh, you will be on the show someday. It will probably end up being longer than this one. But he says it's the Wells expedition scene for Frank Wells. That's the scene you got to sit inside all the trash, the junk stuff. Yeah. The hoarding thing.
Yeah.
So. All right, a couple more questions before we start wrapping up this episode. I know we're running a little bit longer, but I'm in no rush today.
Just let me keep talking.
Well, we talked about perks and benefits and everything, and you did actually mention something that I thought was kind of cool, where if you drop trivia on some guests or do other things that's like kind of above and beyond, you get perks and stuff like that.
That's one of those things that Disney always encourages. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, and I love that because. There's one other thing that I was not even aware until we went to the Magic Kingdom, and that was there is a way you can actually not really rate, but you can give like a compliment to a cast member. And
so
I didn't know this.
Used to be something where at the end of your day, you could walk into City Hall and you could say, I want to leave a guest compliment. I want to leave a compliment for this cast member who really went above and beyond. Now they have systems both at Disneyland and at Walt Disney World where you can do it right on the app. It's not quite as personal. I think that you can still go into City Hall and say, I need this to be a personal, because on the app you can select from certain things, like this person made my day special for my child, this person went above and beyond with this, but it helps the cast members. I mean, I know people who had 20-40 guest compliments, just it does help those cast members for things like promotions and stuff like that, but it also just makes us feel good.
We used to call them attaboys where I was working a while back, and it's people, if you're at the parks and you get particular special attention from a cast member, pay it forward, because I mean you did it so much, and there were so many people in lines that were being rude at the parks, not cast members, but there were Yes, that were just in line and queuing, like that incident that we had during the mine train, right?
Mine train, that was the worst.
We had a Karen experience, unfortunately, and she had it out with a cast member, and he was very patient and very, professional with his response and everything, and we both felt so bad. And she wanted to trade a pin with him or just give him a pin as sort of like a, hey, I saw what happened. I appreciate you. You do a good job, blah, blah, blah. But unfortunately, he left, and we never got a chance to actually say thanks or, sorry for that happening to you. But either way, if you see a cast member and they do a great job or they make your day a little bit better, I say do it, because
it's
even
totally
if they don't,
worth it.
They're just there. They're part of the magic.
Yes. Well,
Just say,
yeah,
you know
exactly.
what? I appreciate you being here today.
Yeah,
it's all part of a show.
You would be surprised by how far it goes.
Yeah.
And the one thing I can say is that, like, a lot of cast members, and you won't see it with everybody, but there's a lot of cast members who really do take that extra step, especially when it comes to, like, immersion,
Yes.
I don't like to brag, but I was one of those cast members. No. But I knew a lot of people who I worked with who would do these little things, whether it was just making small talk in the theme of the land. Like, it goes so far. I made up stories about residents of Frontierland. Adventureland was the best because Adventureland, everything went wrong and it was fantastic. You just make up these stories and it makes people super happy. They love it. Little things, and that you don't always see it, but the cast members do these things, these little things, to make your life easier, better, and more immersed in the
adventure.
You
think about it too, you come back from your trip and you're like, you know what, this cast member told me something that I never knew about this ride or this place or this character or this story or something like that, and that's something that you've kind of imparted with them. You're giving them stories to tell moving forward, and it inspires other people to do the same. So I love that. I absolutely love that.
Exactly. And it's so, I love cast members.
I know you do. You were on your phone so much. Like, I gotta give this person the comment. I gotta give this person the comment, and I love that. You were so cool about doing that.
It was necessary.
All right. Well, we're going to start wrapping things up here. It's getting a little bit late. But thanks so much for taking the time and answering all these questions and sharing all this great. I wish we had more time to tell more.
Thank you for talking about your illegal experience in the Haunted Mansion.
Yes,
thank you
of course.
For sharing
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Nothing else.
Thank you for being a naughty girl and doing things that you shouldn't be doing while you're working at Disneyland. Yeah, exactly.
Worth it. Just change my name if I ever want to go back to working for Disney.
I don't even know who you are.
Doody? Nope.
Nope.
Me.
It's like the Jungle Book, If you liked this store, my name was Mimi. If you didn't, my name is Frank,
Exactly.
Or the Jungle Cruise. I think I said Jungle Book. Anyway.
You're good.
Like I said, it's getting late. All right. Update on T-shirts. If you guys missed it, we are actually coming up with a line of T-shirts designed
and they're
by
awesome.
Moi. Yes, you have seen a few designs, and we actually do have them up on our social media on Instagram and also Facebook. So if you guys haven't had a chance to see that, you can watch the last episode. Near the end, I put some copies up there, and I also posted stuff on social media. Yes, they're very, if you know kind of concepts. So
and they're brilliant.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You actually helped inspire me for one of them that I posted, the Monsters, Inc. Scary, not scary, very scary doors. I love that one.
He was sharing all of these designs with me while we were in line, specifically for Peter Pan's flight in Walt Disney World.
And I actually did a new one. I did a new one today for Dr. Finkelstein from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's going to be like parts... what is it? Parts, potions, and curios. It's going to be like a shop sign, so.
I like that.
So anyway, I'm hoping to get the store up and running, hopefully by the end of the month. If not, definitely in May. If anybody has any suggestions based on the stuff that I've already posted, please just comment on there, or even just something that you're like, it'd be really cool if there was a shirt like this. I'd be happy to accept the challenge. So I've got, what is it called? Oh my gosh, I've forgotten the name. Canva, which is a great design studio that's available online. That's where I do all my designs. It's like Photoshop or Illustrator for Dummies. You know, they give you all these things you can just drop in with a small paid subscription. My mouth is falling asleep. Sorry, guys. And as long as you've got the ideas and the creativeness, you can just put this stuff together, and it looks fantastic. It looks like like I've been doing this for years, and I've only been doing it for a couple of months. Sneak peek on next episode, we are going to have Miss Mary Gibbs as a special guest. And for those of you who do not know who she is, here's a hint. Yes, that's right. It's Boo from Monsters, Inc. She was the little girl who did the voice of Boo. I think she was only like 3 or 4 years old at the time, but she's all grown up now. And in fact, there is, I think, a documentary that Jerry, our guest from last week, did called Boo Grown Up. That is a really good show about her and her journey as Boo with the movie. Her dad, who was a storyboard artist for Pixar at the time, which I think is how she got her role. So we'll have her on and we'll be able to talk about all that stuff. And anybody who's interested and wants to come on and ask any questions or say hello to her, please join us. That'll be on Tuesday, the 23rd, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Please join us. It's going to be a fun show.
Very excited.
Yes. Anybody have anything else before we close? Final words of wisdom? Nothing?
Be nice to cast members.
Be nice to cast members. We got that. Don't do naughty things if you're a cast member.
Please don't say Mimi Doody said that I could walk down the exit ramp of the Haunted Mansion. Don't do it, please.
This episode is the disclaimer of what not to do.
Right.
As a cast member.
Yes. No. Follow the rules. Always listen.
Yes.
Don't take your phone out on stage.
All right. Well, thank you.
You don't want to be banned for life.
No, it's not worth it.
No,
totally could have happened to me.
Never worth it.
It could happen to you. Only
don't
you
be
can
one of those
prevent
people.
forest fires.
Well, thank you for keeping us on the right path, and thank you for sharing all the information again. And I know you're going to be on other shows, of course, but definitely appreciate all the information you shared and all the happy stories and stuff. It was great. Yes. All right, so thanks again, everybody, for joining. I know it was a long one, but thanks for hanging in there for those who were actually here. And again, for the latest news and information about Main Gate Magic and what our upcoming episodes are going to be, you can find us on Instagram and also on Facebook. This video will be recorded on both platforms, and it'll also be available on the usual podcast streaming media services. So until next time, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
Have a good
Farewell.
evening.
See you real soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Goodbye.